and welcome to Ambassador Press Club, a special program on TVRI World that allows you to learn about potential investment opportunities from countries all over the world who are interested in putting their funds in developmental projects in Indonesia. And vice versa, we also provide information on how Indonesian investors who would like to diversify their portfolio in investing in other countries. I'm Siska Becker, and for today's edition of Ambassador Press Club, I am very fortunate to have the company of these distinguished guests. I would like to welcome the Belgium ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Frank Felix. Very good to see you again, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to see you too, Siska.
And we also like to welcome Mr. Jhony van Acker, Director at PT Dredging International Indonesia. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Welcome, very nice to meet you. And also Mr. Marc Peeters, Director at Bambu Nusa Verde, Indonesia. Gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to join us here in the studio of TVRI World. I'm very excited to have a conversation with all of you to learn a little bit more about the latest updates from the bilateral relationship between Belgium and Indonesia, about business opportunities for both business communities in our country, and also to learn about how to enjoy Belgium for business and for pleasure. But before we dive into all of that, let's take a look at this very special video presentation to learn more about the Kingdom of Belgium.
Belgium is a federal country located in the northwestern part of Europe. It is one of the smallest and most densely populated country in Europe. Bordering with France, Luxembourg, the Netherlands and Germany, Belgium is known for its cultural richness that has been in existence since the 16th century. Belgium was one of the 12 founding countries of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. It is a federal kingdom which consists of 3 regions: Flanders, Wallonia, and Brussels. Belgium is a constitutional monarchy. Under the provision of the Belgian Constitution, the national executive power is held by the King and the Council of Ministers, while the legislative power is shared by the King and the bicameral parliament, which consists of the House of Representatives and the Senate and Community and Regional Council. King Philippe, born on April 15, 1960, has been the King of Belgium since July 21, 2013. When his father, King Albert II, stepped down for health reasons. Philippe was the oldest child of King Albert II and Queen Paula. He married Countess Mathilde Ducam d'Acos, now Queen Mathilde. The royal couple has 4 children. King Philippe's oldest daughter, Princess Elizabeth, is the first in line of succession to the Belgian throne. Meanwhile, the incumbent Belgian Prime Minister is Alexander De Croo. A member of the Liberal and Democratic Flemish Party, he was appointed on October 1, 2020, replacing Sophie Wilmès. Belgium is a country with an advanced economy. Just like the majority of Western countries, its economic system is a free or liberal market economic system. With its economic system, Belgium's trade balance has experienced a surplus at an average of $20 billion in the last 10 years. Bilateral Indonesia and Belgium relation has existed since Belgium was a member of the 3-state Joint Commission, along with Australia and the United States in 1947. Through its membership in the Commission, Belgium was involved in resolving the Indonesia-Netherlands dispute regarding the sovereignty of Indonesia, which proclaimed its independence on August 17, 1945. In 1949, Belgium was one of the first European countries to recognize Indonesia's independence. In December 1949, Indonesia opened a representative office for the Kingdom of Belgium, and the year marked the beginning of the 2 countries' bilateral relations.
There you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed that virtual tour of Belgium that gave you a general idea of what Belgium is. But now I would like to ask my distinguished guests, especially Mr. Ambassador, Your Excellency, now that we've shown our viewers a general assessment of Belgium, maybe you can add by telling us what is actually unique about this kingdom in Western Europe. What makes it special compared to other Western countries? And maybe you can also share like lesser known facts about Belgium?
Well, Belgium is unique in Europe because we are a bit the bridge between Northern and Southern Europe.
Oh, okay.
You have two big cultures in Europe, the Germanic culture, which is the north, which is more rational, which is more industrialized, which is more in advanced technologies. And you have the southern part of Europe, which is the Romanic language part, which is a more traditional part of Europe, where the living is easy, where it's pleasant food, where general conditions are extremely nice.
Okay.
So Belgium is a bit the bridge between the two. And that makes us quite unique. We are the country where the north of the country speaks Dutch, which is a Germanic language, and the south of the country speaks French, which is a Romanic language. So that gives us a quite unique position in Europe and makes us understand how Europe works. It's not a coincidence that the European Union has its headquarters in Belgium, as well as NATO, the defense mechanism of the North Atlantic Defense Mechanism Organization. So there's no coincidence that these big organizations choose Belgium as their capital. And so that makes us quite unique and sets us apart from other European countries.
Yeah, it is actually considered as the heart of Europe now, with the representation office from EU.
Exactly, yes. And we have been
there.
that since the beginning. Belgium was one of the founding members of the European Union, a fact that we are very proud of. And in those days, it was very clear to the initial 6 members of the European Union that Belgium should be their capital.
Okay, wonderful. Now I want to talk more about the relationship between our countries, Your Excellency. Now, the diplomatic relationship between Belgium and Indonesia was established way back in 1949. In fact, Belgium was one of the first countries that acknowledged the independence of Indonesia. Now, after 74 years, how would you describe the relationship between our countries, Your Excellency, both diplomatically and economically?
Well, it has only grown over the years. We were indeed one of the first countries to recognize Indonesia, another fact we are proud of. And so these strong relations have only grown over the last 5 decades. We can see that not only economical ties, but also cultural and human ties have grown enormously and are accelerating over the last few years. We've seen, for example, in 2022, the last year, we have figures of that the trade balance between our countries has increased with 40% in 1 year.
Wow.
That is enormous. Of course, COVID has a small effect on it, but even if we put COVID out of the picture, we still have very impressive growth figures compared to the years before COVID. So this means that the economical cooperation between the two countries is increasing. And I'm very happy to say it goes in both directions. I mean, you see an increase of Belgian investment in Indonesia, but you see also an enormous increase of Indonesian investment in Belgium and Indonesian export to Belgium, where we can see that Indonesia is now using our facilities, especially our ports, as an entry port into the European Union. As we are, as we mentioned, the heart of Europe. Within Europe, there's a unified market, so it's easy for Indonesian products to get into the whole European market through the Belgian ports.
Okay, so from the data we have from the Belgium embassy here in Jakarta, it says that among the European Union member countries, Belgium actually ranked the 5th largest EU investor in Indonesia. You mentioned there was a slight decline starting in 2020 because of the pandemic, where the whole world actually stopped for a little while. But now that we have left those pandemic years behind us, do you see many potential for more investors coming into Indonesia from Belgium?
Yeah, absolutely. We see this indeed, this enormous increase, and that's no coincidence. The fact that we are the 5th partner says a lot. We are not the 5th biggest country in Europe, far from, but we are per capita one of the biggest partners of Indonesia in Europe. And it's kind of an effect that it has on itself. Once Indonesia is known as a popular country to invest and to do business with, it attracts other business people. I can see that on the number of visitors I get from big Belgian companies and enterprises, how they see Indonesia as a potential new investment country. That is increasing a lot. Just to give you a little anecdote, okay. I was on holiday a few weeks ago, and that was not to the interest of a lot of Belgian businesses who said, you know, you should have stayed in the country because we want to come and we cannot, we want you to be there all the time. And only this month we have a lot of potential investors that are visiting Indonesia, and I'm sure that a lot of them will make the step and work in Indonesia in a lot of sectors. We see a lot of activity in the what we call the blue economy, which is everything that has to do with ports, with harbors, with sea technology, but also rivers. All these things become very important, and I'm also happy to have Jhony here, who is a representative of a dredging company. But also in green technology, we see a lot of investment and a lot of interest, and I'm also happy to have Marc here, who is in a specific sector that can help to fight climate change, which is one of the big challenges of these days. Another sector where it's hugely happening is in the pharmaceutical sector. The pandemic has shown how much international cooperation is important. And Belgium is one of the main producers in the world of vaccines, and our cooperation there also with Indonesia is increasing a lot. And these are just a few sectors that are important to us, but definitely not exclusively. We have many other sectors where Belgium is active.
Okay, Your Excellency, thank you so much for providing us with the latest landscape of Belgium investments in Indonesia. I would love to talk more in deeper details with our guests, Mr. Jhony Acker and Mr. Marc Peeters, but we'll take a short break first, so don't go anywhere. The Ambassador Press Club will be right back. Welcome back to Ambassador Press Club with me, Siska Becker. In this edition, it's all about Belgium. This time we're going to learn more about Belgium's investment plan in Indonesia, the currently ongoing projects that is happening in cooperation between Indonesia and Belgium, and also success stories from the companies that are operating in Indonesia from Belgium. But before that, we're going to show you a short video that tells you a little bit more about one of the Belgian companies that are currently operating in Indonesia, PT Dredging International Indonesia. Let's have a look.
The world has never witnessed changes as enormous and impactful as it has in the last 100 years. Modernization brought us prosperity and wealth, but at the same time inflicted a huge strain on the planet. Global challenges, such as the reduction of emissions, polluted rivers, seas and soils, rising sea levels, a growing population, and a scarcity of natural resources, are what we are facing today. The next decade represents a critical window to address these challenges, and we all have our role to play. For DEME, sustainability has been an integral part of our business long before it emerged on the international agenda. Relying on more than 140 years of know-how and experience, we have been and still are a front-runner in innovation and new technologies. We work towards a sustainable future by offering pioneering solutions for these global challenges. To us, sustainability is not a vague ambition. It is simply everyday practice.
The innovative spirit of DEME forms the basis of its technological and sustainable leadership. Complex land reclamation projects, like the Abukir project, deep-sea mining, the tackling of plastic soup, the use of artificial intelligence are just a few examples of that leadership.
While today everyone acknowledges that offshore wind farms can play a key role in the transition to renewable energy and in reducing emissions, the first wind turbines were subject to a fair amount of criticism and skepticism. Nevertheless, DEME saw the potential, defied the skepticism, and was one of the first to deploy its expertise in a new industry. Up until today, we have installed no less than 2,400 wind turbines and over 70 offshore wind farms, making us the world's #1 offshore wind farm solutions provider. True to our pioneering role, we are now exploring yet another new industry, that of e-fuels, such as green hydrogen. This is being heralded as one of the most promising sectors to assist in the decarbonisation of the planet. We definitely wish to play our part in scaling up the hydrogen value chain.
So there you have it, a video presentation that gives us a perfect illustration about what His Excellency Mr. Frank Felix mentioned before, the realization of green economy investments from Belgium and Indonesia. And now to talk in depth about PT Dredging International Indonesia, or DEME, we have the director himself, Mr. Jhony van Acker, to talk with us. So once again, thank you so much, Mr. van Acker, for coming here. We are very excited to learn more about DEME. Although we have just seen the video presentation, maybe you can give us a short recap on what is DEME exactly and what kind of services they provide here in Indonesia.
Maybe I start first with describing PT Dredging International Indonesia, because that has been established some 5 years ago with two local strong, so Indonesian strong partners, because that is also the essence from our business abroad is, let's say, to find strong partners where we can establish the business development further. So that's Acker is part of the Astra group in Indonesia, and also Ikanuri, who is, let's say, also very busy in the port industry, in the port sector. So we started 5 years ago, and yeah, we want, let's say, our target is to bring, in fact, our knowledge, our experience, which we have been building since 1870 already in Belgium. So we have been working in the port of Antwerp and in Zeebrugge, so to dredge and reclaim, let's say, and help to develop the port sector in Belgium, including also the protection of coasts. We have a coastline which is heavily, let's say, damaged by storms, and and that knowledge that we have been building up, we want to explore or further develop abroad. And with the marine environment in Indonesia as being very big, we see a lot of opportunities here. So in that way, we have established, let's say, that company here.
I see. So it's not just green economy, Your Excellency, it's green economy and blue economy all put together in the workings of
absolutely, and we are, let's say, permanently developing innovative solutions in that blue economy, because we have to, let's say, the challenges worldwide, the climate challenge, the urbanization, so the growing population, so the building of artificial islands is also part of our portfolio. So we, in fact, we have 4 business activities, which are, in fact, the port construction, including dredging and reclamation, but then also, like you have seen in the video, also the offshore wind renewables, which is a booming sector, of course, worldwide, so building of offshore wind farms. We have also the infrastructure works, which is, in fact, linked to the marine environment, the building of bridges, tunnels, and then we have also the environmental works, the environmental sector, with cleanup of polluted soils and sediments in the sea.
Okay, so you've been working together with local businesses, local government, and also local communities to ensure that you reach all the goals that you set out to do?
That is very important indeed to involve. We have now, let's say, engaged about 30 Indonesian people in the company. So they are working on our vessel. We have, in fact, took a decision to bring in a vessel, to invest in a vessel to work in the ports in Indonesia. And so there we are now training, in fact, the seafarers in that perspective.
Okay, so you have somewhat newly arrived in Indonesia at the beginning of the year. But based on your experiences so far, how is it doing business in Indonesia, Mr. Van Acker?
I must say every day is a learning school. So it's, I'm learning a lot. It's very interesting and very promising, I must say. You see, of course, that Indonesia is a very big country. So, and with a lot of contact with the sea and contact with the rivers. So there is a lot, let's say, to develop, and we hope that we can, let's say, help in that further development of the country.
Okay, how much of a potential you think Indonesia has for even more investors from Belgium, especially in the field of area where you are in with Jhony?
A lot, absolutely, because we see also that ports are the backbone of economical growth. Import and export of goods is crucial and brings also a lot of employment. So in that respect, there is still a lot of potential in Indonesia.
Okay, very encouraging to hear. Thank you, Mr. Van Acker. I would love to go back to you, Your Excellency, for my next question. Now, from the data that we have, please correct me if I'm wrong, maybe your data is more updated. Belgium was ranked the 24th export destination for Indonesian commodities, the 31st source for Indonesian imports, and again, Indonesia's 5th highest export and import partner. But could you please help specify it for us, Your Excellency? Which sector actually holds the majority of Belgian investments in Indonesia? And how is business right now between Belgium and Indonesia in 2023, last semester?
Yeah, the latest figures show that the trend that we have seen over the last few years, and especially from the last year, is going in the same direction in 23. The latest figures we have are for the second quarter of the year. And there we see that 42% is actually 2% higher than we had over the whole of 22. So it's going in the right direction. So it was not a one-time off. It's really something sustainable, as that word is often used. In which sectors? Indeed, in the 3 sectors that I named before, but also a lot in machinery. Belgium is a very innovative country. It's a sector that we heavily invest in. So we have very advanced technology and machinery, and we see that in Indonesia there's a huge interest in buying this machinery for multiple sectors because they have a higher output, they help Indonesian businesses to increase their growth. So there we have seen even higher growth figures that go up to 60% in these sectors. But I'm happy to see that indeed the green technology is now the sector where the biggest growth is being seen. And because it helps with to tackle one of the biggest problems for humankind is the climate change that we see everywhere, the pollution also. So I'm happy to see that these sectors that are the ones where we see the biggest growth.
All right, thank you so much for your insights, Your Excellency. Now we're going to take another short break, but when we return, I would love to talk to Mr. Marc Peeters to tell us a little bit more about his company, who is operating right now in Indonesia. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Ambassador Press Club, where we talk about potential business investments in Indonesia. And this time we're going to talk about the companies from Belgium that have made the opportunity to be in Indonesia and especially to make the most of our natural resources. As an example, let's watch this short video.
Today, Southeast Asia is going through unprecedented change. with growing populations, but also a growing need for cleaner food. In Belgium, we have the expertise making the most of what we have. So throughout Southeast Asia, we're here for you. Growing in a way that's good for our Earth, from the very start of the process in the most sustainable way, smartly using everything at our disposal. We can work together to make businesses more sustainable, from chocolate to conservation. We're sharing that knowledge for a healthier world and happier people, using the space we have in a more sustainable way, finding new ways to do things, better for your food, better for the Earth.
Together with our partners in Southeast Asia for a cleaner and more sustainable world.
So as you have heard from our distinguished guests, that agro-industry is one of the biggest potential for investments from other countries in Indonesia. And I'm very lucky to have Mr. Marc Peeters, the director at Bambu Nusa Verde, Indonesia, to be here in the studio and to tell us a little bit more about all the investments that has been made from your company in Indonesia. But firstly, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about Bambu Nusa Verde. What does it actually do in Indonesia?
Thank you, Siska. We make bamboo, the plants. Everybody asks us, can you sell us bamboo poles? But we don't make the poles, we make the plants. Okay. So how to make it? It is a technology made, developed in Belgium and then transferred to Yogyakarta, where we make these bamboo plants with the biotechnology. It's made in Belgium, developed in Belgium. And in Belgium, of course, the tropical bamboo doesn't grow there. Okay. So we do the tropical bamboo here in Indonesia. So it's totally, we don't take bamboo out of nature, we only make them in the laboratory. We produce them on a massive scale. So this bamboo, we sell them locally, but also internationally. Okay. For the moment, 37 countries have our bamboo growing in the world, so it's quite substantial, a very good reference. Most of the time, the bamboo is used as regreening or as building material for end products. Okay. So you can make paper, textile, you can make biomass, you can make flooring, anything. Bamboo is a giant grass, and it grows very quick. So it's the plant for the future. And also it takes a lot of carbon out of the air. Carbon sequestration is better than a tree. So all the good things are there. So that's why I try to promote growing bamboo on a massive scale in Indonesia, even more in Indonesia, because we came to Indonesia, because Indonesia has the biggest and the best bamboo in the world probably. So that's why we we multiply this bamboo, because it's very difficult to produce this on a massive scale in another way. So we do it by biotechnology.
This is actually very fascinating to me. I've never heard this before. So what you do first, you plant the bamboos here in Indonesia, and then you take samples of it back to Belgium and clone it. Can you please explain it again? I would love to learn about this. This is very fascinating stuff indeed. So it's a combination between natural resources and high technology.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, we don't take anything to Belgium. We do everything here.
In Indonesia, so all the bamboo plantations?
My local staff, we are all Indonesians, but the technology is from Belgium. So what we do, we take we look for a very nice and big, for example, big bamboo, and there we take a small piece from a node, what we call a node, and then we manipulate, or we let this node grow into a bottle in a media.
Wow.
And then when it works, it's very difficult to do that. That's why you said you don't hear this. Yes. Nearly nobody does this in the world. This is but we believed in the plant, so we continued with very hard and very difficult in the past, but we produce this bamboo. So in the bottle, so we make from one plant, we can make in a year a few 100,000 plants without taking anything out of the nature. We just put them and produce them in a glass jar, and then we put them up, place them out in the nursery, and there they grow up, and then we can send them all over the world or plant them in Indonesia.
Okay, so very sophisticated technology, very specific science is used to do what you do with the Bambu Nusa Verde, right?
It is, yeah, and it's most of it. It's you have to continue. You have to believe in what we do.
Okay.
Most of the other companies in the world who try to do that, or universities, it's a very small scale. But we are doing really on an industrial scale and a big scale.
Yeah.
We make these plants available for the public.
Okay. Now, Mr. Peeters, you mentioned that Indonesian bamboo is considered the best bamboo. Can you elaborate on that? Why is it considered the best in the world?
Yeah, first of all, it's tropical, so it means that if you compare bamboo growing in a temperate climate, it has the winter. It only grows in the summer or spring, but not all year round. In Indonesia, all year round. And then the size of a bamboo in Europe is maybe weight 5 kilos. Here it's 80 kilos, 120 kilos, 180 kilos for one bamboo pole.
Yeah.
So there is the difference. Where you have to go to get raw material to make a product. It's here, of course. So we have the license for operating. We got that from the Ministry of Industry. And Ministry of Industry, they gave us the license because they were convinced that bamboo will be the future for the raw material to make new things, high technology things. And you can follow China, what is China doing with the bamboo. Indonesia can do much better because the bamboos are bigger here.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yes.
So you mentioned this raw material, bamboo, that we see every day here in abundance in Indonesia. It's actually very versatile. You can change it into a lot of manufactured stuff that we use daily, every day. So that means there's a huge potential for other investments coming in to make the most of this abundance of bamboo in Indonesia, right, Mr.
That's
Peeters?
true. And we are at the birthplace. Yeah, we make them. So we produce only the plant, but many people ask us, can you do this, can you do this? And I did all that. I produced flooring, charcoal, textile, paper. It's all possible. But we have to focus on something, and the focus is make the plant grow.
Yeah, to keep it sustainable. You have to keep it sustainable and make sure that you still have the material.
Yes, but there are other companies who should look to this as a basic material for so many other products, sustainable products, because the bamboo grows, you can harvest, and it doesn't die. You can harvest next year again. Every year you can harvest. So that's the difference with the tree. But on the other hand, you say everywhere is bamboo. Once you want to make something, you have to have a huge plantation. You have to have bamboo in a close circle, not too far from the factory, like China is doing. And then you can make products. Otherwise, you have always this transport and all that that is creating a burden on eventually the end product price.
So do you also work with local communities, with local farmers?
We do that. We support local, because of course bamboo is known as handicraft. Yeah, handicraft. So we support several small companies who produce bamboo handicraft. We also work together with. We are in Yogyakarta, in Sleman. There we do rehabilitation of the Merapi. Remember the eruption? So there is bamboo planted. We are working with the Riverbanks Society, where bamboo is planted, because then it stops the erosion, so it conserves the soil. We are working with universities in Indonesia. We do a lot of research together on bamboo. What is the bamboo? What is the biomass? How is the growth? What can you make from it? So we are very busy to do it in Indonesia and to bring this technology also to other places in the world. It's possible from Indonesia. I was in Africa. Africa, they are open, their hands are open. Come, make the same here. Yeah, true. And it's all from Indonesia.
That's great. Out of curiosity, what is the biggest demand so far in Europe, especially in Belgium, when it comes to products made out of bamboos?
Products made of bamboo, this is a little bit another sector, because I am not aware of this. But I know plants, ornamental plants. We still send every year thousands of ornamental plants for the European market, and they're made in Indonesia.
All right, that's great. Now, before we continue, I'd just like to let our viewers know that actually my guests here comprised of 2 guests from Belgium, Belgian guests, and 1 local guest. Mr. Peeters here have been living in Indonesia for the past 46 years. Did I get that right, Mr. Peeters? 46 years. That's amazing. That's why you know your bamboo very well, you know Indonesia very well, you know the landscape and everything there is need to know about how to build a business here. So maybe please tell us, how has it been living in Indonesia, doing business in Indonesia, and making the most of all the potential that we have here?
I'm still surprised every day, so I'm still learning every day. No, but of course, it's what I see. I'm in Indonesia and I should retire maybe a long time ago, but I can contribute to Indonesia. Okay. I train thousands of people in telecommunication because I came here in '77 to build Indosat. I was here to build Indosat. I built also the Palapa, the satellite, a long time ago. But then all these years, after 30 years in telecom, I had to do something else. So I think, again, let's go green and let's go sustainable. So I make the bamboo, I made the bamboo. And from Belgium again. So I make this company world known. We are world known, really. We are invited all over the world to talk about what we do. Because we are so different with so many in the world, very different. So it's Indonesia. Well, you have to, I say always to my friends, if you come to Indonesia, there is a huge opportunity, but never give up. Please never give up. And that's what many times they say it's impossible. It's possible. But you have to believe in it, and you have to, of course, you have to have the relations and convince the people. But believe in it. Well, I believe in it, and it works. It will come because the huge opportunity is here. So many people, so huge land, all is here.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Peeters, for your inspiring story. You are part of our nation's history, one might say, with all your experiences here in Indonesia. We'll be right back with Ambassador Press Club for more stories on Belgium investment in Indonesia and also some stories on how to invest in Belgium. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Ambassador Press Club with me, Siska Becker. We are still talking about Belgium, the kingdom in Western Europe that gives us so many options for possibilities of investing. But right now, I want to talk more about the arts and cultures in Belgium. Let's find out what kind of activities actually we can do there when we visit Belgium. Let's take a look at this short video. There you have it, a very fascinating video that tells us about the biggest annual event, Sand Sculptures, in the Belgian beach. Your Excellency, please tell us more about this. That was very fascinating to see. Yeah, it's again a European event because this is done by sculptors, sand sculptors from all over the European Union. So they come every year to Belgium, and it's always other artists who make these sand sculptures. With sand that is brought by the company of Deme to the beach. So they prepare for this for a big 2-3 weeks, and then it's open for a small 2 weeks to the big public. So it's a bit sad that at the end we have to break it down. But it's I can only imagine after all the hard work, right? Exactly. I mean, it goes a lot further than the children building their little sandcastle. This is on a whole other level, as is being shown on the screen. So it attracts visitors, not only from Belgium, but from all over Europe, who come to see this annually returning festival at the beachside. Yeah, this is a very fun side of Belgium that I haven't seen before. I mean, we know Belgium as a country, and Brussels, the capital, is one of the biggest art centers of Europe, even the world. There's a lot of historical context to what Belgium is as a country, and also Brussels as a capital. But this is like so much fun, and this would be a great visitor attractions actually for people who start now coming in back to Belgium after, you know, the slump that we had for the past 3 years because of the pandemic. Maybe you can tell us more. How is the tourism sector now that we are all bouncing back and getting ready to welcome back visitors? Indeed, yeah. Belgium is a small country, and despite its size,
has a lot of interesting places to visit. I mean, there are a lot of cultural cities, most of them dating from the Middle Ages, and you can all visit them from one central place, so you don't have to move around. You can go within 1 hour from Brussels. You can visit all the main cultural cities of Belgium. But this being said, that's not enough. You have to innovate a lot, and innovation is one of the keywords, not only in our economy, but also in our cultural sector. So we look continuously to innovate. And where do we innovate? A lot with interaction with other cultures, to see what foreign artists can bring in interaction with the local culture. And that gives amazing results. This Science Festival is just one of them, but there are also light festivals where we, in the past, only last year, artists, among them from Indonesia, but also China, Thailand, were coming to bring a light festival in Ghent, which is one of the old medieval towns. And so the interaction, how foreign, Asian in this case, artists see the local buildings and local culture, and how they find some interaction, that is quite amazing to see what kind of vibrant energy that brings to both sides. And so that makes it always interesting to come and visit our country.
So exciting times ahead, Your Excellency, right? And to use the tourism industry as a way to strengthen the people-to-people relations between Belgium and Indonesia would be a great opportunity.
Absolutely. We invest a lot in that, and we hope that next year, when we visit our 75 years of the diplomatic relations, 50 years of diplomatic relations, that we can go further and bring a lot of Indonesian artists to Belgium, and a lot of Belgian artists to Indonesia. Again, to find this interaction between the local cultures and to see what new energy comes out of the mix of the two.
Okay, wow, that sounds very exciting indeed. And Mr. Van Acker, if you don't mind, I would love to get your recommendations and suggestions. Like if you were to advise me as a first-time visitor to Belgium, I've never been, I would love to come. What would be the must-do activities and must-go spots that I need to go to when I was in Belgium?
Yeah, the medieval cities are exciting. Huh? You have them, and indeed they are, let's say, in close distance from each other, so you can visit at least 5, 6 cities on one day with a very medieval history. So, so there you see the old buildings. It's very nice to and good organized, in fact, and that's very exciting to visit. Absolutely.
Okay, so when I go travel, I always love to try the local culinary delights, like the local delicacies. What would you suggest for me to try?
The French, the Belgian fries, because most of the people, of course, say French fries.
I know.
But we have our typical Belgian fries, which are completely different, but very tasteful. So the Belgian fries, and yeah, we have also our seafood, the mussels. They are very, in the north of Belgium, they are very, very tasteful. So that's definitely something to recommend, yes.
Okay, and bring back home Belgian chocolate.
Absolutely, yes. And taste some of the beers, because that is also very, very tasteful, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I've written all that down mentally. Yes. Yeah, I want to make sure I tick all the boxes once I get the chance to visit Belgium. Now, to Mr. Peeters, I think I'm going to go the other way with you, because you've lived here for 46 years. I would like to give you the opportunity to give recommendations for Belgian visitors when they come to Indonesia. Where do you think they should go to truly admire and enjoy the beauty of Indonesia?
They should come to Bambu Nusa Verde first. Yeah, of course. There is a lot of culture here.
Yeah.
You have Hindu, Buddhist, fantastic places in and around Yogyakarta, Solo. Yeah, so many places. In fact, I even didn't have time to visit all these places because I most of the time work.
Yeah. Which place was the most memorable for you personally?
The most memorable?
Yeah, the one that would get recommended.
And I reply, this question was also asked by a reporter, and then I said my home. My home. At home, this is for me the most memorable place, heaven on earth, which was possible to create in Indonesia. But of course, there is a lot of culture. But everybody knows Bali. There is so many things to see in Bali. So there is so many things. You have to stay for months and go trekking to see the real life. Because if you go to a hotel, it's not a real life.
Okay. And how would a business person from Indonesia go about in pursuing business opportunities in Belgium? Could the Embassy of Belgium in Jakarta have channels to help
Absolutely.
them?
We have a big trade commission, so they can always address them. There are several people working there. We even have a customs officer, which is quite unique. We only have a few in the world, but one of them is based here in, at the Belgian Embassy in Jakarta. And we have a lot of help from the embassy also. Economical and commercial diplomacy is one of our priorities. And so we help a lot of Indonesian businessmen that show any interest to come to Belgium. Even if it's just for a visit, we will open our doors to them and make sure they get all the possibilities that they need to explore their possible investment or business in Belgium.
Okay, gentlemen, it's been an insightful conversation so far. We're going to take another short break, but when we go back, I'm looking forward to your closing statements to our program. Don't go anywhere. Ambassador Press Club will be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the Ambassador Press Club with me, Siska Becker. I've had a delightful conversation so far with my distinguished guests, the Ambassador of Belgium to Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Frank Felix, Mr. Jhony van Acker, Director at PT Dredging International Indonesia, and also Mr. Marc Peeters, Director at Bambu, Nusa, Verde, Indonesia. And now we are at the end of our program, but before we let you go, first of all, Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, I would love to squeeze in one final question about the possibility of foreign investment from Belgium to come to Indonesia in the area of the ongoing development right now in our new capital city in Kalimantan. Do you have any updates on that?
Well, it is a very exciting project. I mean, to build a town out of nowhere that is, and a capital town, that is one of the biggest projects I think that Indonesia ever went on. And to be part of that is not only an honor but also a pleasure, because it is going to be a sustainable, a green town on a human scale, exactly the points where Belgium, I think, has a lot to offer. Innovation, green technology, these are keywords in our investment program abroad. So I think we definitely have a lot to offer on the sustainability of the town, the building materials, the green technology that can be used, the energy provision. So all these sectors, I think we have something to offer. And we feel already now that there is some interest being shown by Belgian companies, because we do get already questions on how is this going to work out, what is the time scale, what are they expecting from the private sector, how is the funding. So all these questions are coming up. So I'm pretty sure once this project gets in its working pace, that a lot of Belgian companies actually will participate in making this a town of the future, not only the new capital, but an example for the world.
Yes, exactly, and a platform of the strengthening of the cooperation between Belgium and Indonesia. Hopefully, we'll have more updates on tangible cooperation between our countries. We look forward to hearing from you, Your Excellency, on that. Now, on the last notes, before we leave the program, I would like to ask Mr. Van Acker to please give us your hopes and wishes for your company in Indonesia and also for yourself personally on the remaining of your stay here in Indonesia.
Yeah, just arrived in January, so there's a lot still to explore and to see, and so I'm very excited, let's say, and it gives a lot of energy to be here, and to interact with the community, and for our company as such, we see a lot of possible developments, also including the new capital, which also needs port infrastructure. So in that aspect, we are also exploring there the possibilities to also invest and be part of, let's say, of that development, which is very exciting, of course, and unique in the world. On the other hand, we see a lot of cooperation now with the Shipping Association in Indonesia, with the Chamber of Commerce to explore all the possible future developments in the maritime sector. And we believe strongly that we can create a big pool of seafarers which can work in, let's say, worldwide on our fleet. So we are starting with that, and we are convinced that we can find and let's say transfer the knowledge very well to all those people, let's say.
Amazing, a lot of potential.
A lot of potential.
And now that businesses for green economy and blue economy is booming, so that also serves another opportunity for Belgium and Indonesia to cooperate even deeper.
Yes. We can provide some solutions for that.
Looking forward to that. Now, Mr. Peeters, your hopes and wishes for Bambu Nusa Verde Indonesia and for the further cooperation between Belgium and Indonesia.
First of all, IKN, I think we are the Belgian company that first did something in IKN because our bamboo is already growing there. We supplied bamboo to IKN. It was ordered by the Minister of Public Works last year, so we were pioneers as a Belgian company to contribute to make a little bit more green that is already so green there. So our dream is that the IKN and then also Indonesia will have a look to this sustainable plant of the future. Indonesia should not see bamboo as a poor man's timber. It's the green gold, in fact, for the future. So I hope that this program, your program, can contribute to the awareness of bamboo in general for Indonesia. And my hope is only that I can bring Bambu Nusa Verde to another stage, maybe do something overseas together with Indonesians, show that we have it, that we can do this, and that we can make this world a little bit better, drop by drop, by making it a little bit greener with bamboo. Thank you.
Wow, your closing statement was filled with quotes, Mr. Peeters. Thank you so much for that aspiring closing statement. Your Excellency, your hopes and wishes for the cooperation between Belgium and Indonesia, and also your invitation to everyone to come to Belgium and for Belgian investors to come to Indonesia, please.
Exactly. I have a lot of hopes in trade. Let's start with that. My hope was to double the trade figures during my term in office here, which is normally 4 years. But it seems like we're going to reach that goal already after 2 years. So I have to put my aim a lot higher than doubling of the trade figures. On other levels, and that is the most important, is bringing the two countries closer together. And I think the 75 years of diplomatic relations will definitely be the point where the two countries will get to know each other a lot better. Already we are in full preparation of these celebrations, and it will bring people from both countries closer together. Not only the business people, but also people from any sector of Indonesia, from the cultural to the education to the tourists. Everybody should get closer together and use that specific moment to do so. It's just a symbolic moment, but it will change a lot, and it will make us get to know each other a lot better in the future. That's my hope, and I'm pretty sure that hope will be fulfilled.
Your Excellency, I'm sure you agree that your hopes and wishes are all hopes and wishes. We all agree with you. Hopefully we can see the strengthening of cooperation between our countries, and we look forward to hearing you achieving those targets that you just mentioned here. And that hopeful closing statement brings us to the end of Ambassador Press Club Belgium edition. Once again, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for sharing with us your time, your insights, and your expertise, and for giving our viewers a lot of inspirations about how to enjoy Belgium for business and for pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Ambassador Press Club. I'll see you at the next edition. I'm Siska Becker. Take care. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.